Hello guys, this is Panzermeister 36. It's been a long time since my last video and also a long time since my last haircut, but I want to give you guys a channel update. I haven't done a channel update in probably like 2 years or so, but basically I've moved for the third time in the past year and a half, just a couple weeks ago, and now I should be settled for the next long time. Obviously it's a busy time in your life when you're finishing university, finding a job after university, moving more than once. It all adds up to a lot of stress and time and everything, but I should be settled now, and as you can see I've got my workbench set up, I got some projects I'm working on, and I've got some videos coming for you guys soon. So this is going to be a channel update, discussion about projects I've been working on, what videos you can expect to see soon. I'll do a very quick overview of the bench, and I can also show you guys my model railroad because I know I have a lot of fans who also like my model railroad content. So let's get started. Alright, welcome to my new workbench. That's actually the same as the old workbench, it's just moved. Let's first look at a couple of projects I'm working on that are going to have some full build tutorials and stuff. So I've got a T-34 here that I started in August, like 2 or 3 years ago, I don't remember. This is a T-34 57, which is the limited series of about 10 vehicles that were made with the 57mm gun as like an experimental high velocity tank destroyer kind of gun thing. It is, as you can see, it's kind of dusty. It is entirely built. The wheels and tracks are also all done as well. This is a kit bash of a couple of Dragon kits. Jeez. Because you got to get the special turret rear and a lot of combinations. I mean, as usual, Dragon kits are kind of like mostly right, but then there's a few things wrong, so you have to pick and choose. But I did a full build video on this showing how to make the unique T-34 57mm gun. The only things that are left to be done is to put on the gun. I've got a Panzerart metal barrel and mantlet here that I'm going to use, and I also want to rework the welds in the turret because there's some gaps. But that guy has the full video build, and then I'll also do a how to paint and weather 4BO green because people like my how to paint and weather olive drab and Panzer gray and German yellow and all the other stuff, so I'll do the same on this one. This is not looking like much, but this is the Tamiya M10 Achilles 2C that I've been working on with the Plastic Posse Podcast M4 M3 group build for the 2022 Nationals in Omaha. If you remember when I did that video that was looking at the Panda Plastics trucks, I have a reference photo of a Canadian one of these that has like a lot of track armor on it. So I've got these, I basically made these big sheets that are going to glue on. I've got one there, I've got them on the sides as well. These like huge, I think that goes on the other side. These just huge slabs of tracks that they've put all over the hull. So I'm also doing a full build video on this one, looking at mainly it's a Tamiya kit, so it just kind of falls together. But when you're me and you put on 3 times the kit value in aftermarket, because I got metal tracks, plastic tracks, all the photo etch, I got resin. I don't even know. I got a little stowage. I basically was I'm gonna build a Tamiya kit because it's gonna be fun and easy. And then I'm just throwing money, buying 3D printed things and everything, but it's always fun, and I guess for you guys you get to see some of the T-Rex 3D printed detail as well and see how they work. So that one will also have a build video. I have to finish this before July, so I guess there's a deadline on that. And this guy will also have a how to paint and weather SSC 15 British olive drab, I guess, because it's going to be a Canadian one. I've got some Canadian decals. I myself am Canadian, that's why I picked the Canadian version. And with all the track armor, that should provide some cool weathering opportunities. For something a little bit different, recently, because moving and everything's stressful, I wanted to just spend a little bit of time working on stuff and doing what I like most, which is weathering. So model railroad equipment is always good for just skipping the build and paint and just doing the weathering. So I actually weathered this one over a couple days this week, and I filmed the whole thing. So there's a video coming on weathering another railcar. That means I might get 2 out this year, which is twice as much as usual. As you can see, I had a lot of fun with the graffiti on this one. I'm getting better at that. And the video shows, weathering with actually some fairly limited tools. I just basically used a green fade two colors for chipping, the outside, inside, everything. Oil paint for some dust effects, and then I just painted the graffiti, airbrushed a little bit of dust on the bottom, and then I put a matte varnish on it. Like it's pretty basic tools, but I guess like the kind of the ways you apply the chipping and everything. You know, you can use that to make a cool result with a limited palette. Video on this coming maybe this weekend, actually. I don't know. We'll see. Now here's something a little different. This is a Warhammer 40k Space Marines Predator, I think. I used to play Warhammer a lot. Haven't played it in probably 10 years or so, but people who do wargaming will find my weathering videos and they're like, can you do a video on one of our subjects? And I thought that was a cool idea, so I built this up maybe almost 2 years ago now. Actually did film the building process. It's pretty quick and easy, but you know, it's fun to see how you fix some seams and stuff. And I will do a full paint and weathering on this one too. It'll be a little bit, maybe a little bit more simple, because I kind of want to do it like, you know, maybe you're doing a wargaming model and you don't really want to spend like 40 hours weathering it. You maybe want to spend half that time and just look at the most basic essential effects. And also you want something more durable that you can touch, so you don't want to use probably pigments and as much oil paint maybe. So I'll do that. I know this probably isn't built like, you know, because I put like a cupola for the driver. I think that's illegal. I don't care. It looks cool. I like this vehicle actually. It's pretty mean looking. So for the wargaming people, you'll have a video coming eventually on this too. That's pretty cool. This wouldn't be one of my videos without a couple of Stug 3s. You probably saw the video on painting this one recently, painting and chipping. That was pretty fun, doing the camouflage in the side skirts and kind of keeping the rest, you know, bare bones yellow, and doing some chipping and some cool decal work. I will do another video on the next steps on this one. I don't know when that will be, but I just want to let you know that I didn't forget about this one. It'll be a fun project to kind of weather, maybe do some more chipping on the sides with some yellow to make it look more unified with the rest. But this one doesn't have much priority because, you know, it's just like another Stug of mine. This one here, though, this is very cool to a lot of people. This is basically a 1945 Sturmhaubitze, which is a Stug 3 with a howitzer. This is in a full video on how to paint the 1945 factory applied camouflage for the Stug and the Sturmhaubitze, the Stu 42. So if you've bought the TACOM Blitz like late Stug G that came out a couple months ago, or you're waiting for the border model late Stug G, basically after August 1944 or September 1944, from that day until the last day of the war, they painted tanks in the factory. Because previously they would just paint them, you know, yellow, like the one I showed you before, ship them out in yellow, and then the units would paint the camouflage. You know, like, for example, they might paint on the sides only or whatever they want to do. After a certain point, because of Allied air superiority, they wanted their equipment to be already camouflaged when it was being shipped to the units by rail, so that it wouldn't likely be bombed. I don't know, you can kind of still see a train though. But they basically would paint these tanks at the factory with standardized schemes and then ship them out to units. So when earlier in the war things are kind of messy, you can have a lot of variation in camouflages. Later in the war, it's basically like every tank has the same camouflage. You know, there's some slight variations because it's still applied by a human, but they have like I guess like a big marking guide. Yellow stripe here, green stripe here. So I looked at photos of vehicles and I basically managed to map out what the camouflage looked like to, you know, as best as I could. I couldn't really find pictures of like the roof, so I kind of had to connect the dots there, but I've done a full video on this. The only thing left is the side skirts. They're still in like a primer or whatever. I'm gonna have to do the camouflage on the side skirts. As you can see, they're like the weird swinging, pivoting side skirts on late war vehicle. I'll do the camouflage on the side skirts, film that as well, and then I'll be able to finish the video. Alright, some people like to see the bench layout, so let's do that quickly. I don't want to waste too much time here, but as you can see, I have my main work area here. This is a big old IKEA desk, so it's pretty useful. I mean, it's for like a computer, but my laptop for editing and doing stuff there. All my tools, I like to have them in mugs because I'm weird, so I've got like a bunch of mugs from like various museums and stuff there that I store various tools in. You see paintbrushes over there, files, cutters there, and I've got pens and whatever. Got some thinner over there for painting. I just store bits in that. That's just a handy thing. Over here is just a mess right now because I'm still kind of unpacking stuff. I've got some IKEA pegboards that actually really help storing stuff. So I've got my Tamiya paints up there and stuff. Aftermarket bin of just disaster down there. And then just a bunch of stuff I was showing you guys just piled everywhere. You can see here I've got some aftermarket. So Heavy Hobby, which is the new 3D printed subsidiary brand of Voyager, who make a lot of photo etch sets. They have a Canadian distributor called Hobby Hives, and they wanted to send me some stuff that I could show in my videos because, you know, I guess that's free advertising for them, but if it's crap, I'll be honest and tell you it's crap, don't worry. So they sent me some bits and bobs. I got a bunch of tracks that I can use on this projects. I've got RSO set here. Oh, I kind of forgot to tell you, but I'm also working on RSO Pack 40 here. So I'll use the RSO details on that, as well as some 3D printed tracks for that as well. But I've got a bunch of details here. And I've also got, I bought these myself, but I've got Roche M model 3D printed tracks. And I want to also get some T-Rex ones. I can probably buy those at a show coming up. And so I'll try to get like basically all the 3D printed tracks that are on the market, and then I can do a comparison and see kind of what makes some better than others, because I know it's probably confusing to a lot of people, but it's even confusing to me now. I'm like, I want to buy a 3D printed part. Everybody makes it now. Which one is better? So I'll do a bit of a comparison with Heavy Hobby, Roche M model, and T-Rex. Tankraft also makes them now. They don't make the Panzer III, but they make Tiger and KV and T-34. And they're going to send me some stuff as well. So I'll do a video, I'll be honest as I usually am, about which ones are better, how everything goes together. And hopefully that can help you guys kind of see how the 3D printed track market is currently going. I've got my my stash somewhere else, but I'm just going to point these out here. This is where I'm storing some kits and I want to work on soon in some projects. I've got a few things on my mind. You know, it's always hard to start a new project when you've got 10 billion on the go and 10 billion kits in the stash, but I've laid these out because I want to do a few things. I've got a Panzer III Command, a Panzerbefehlswagen 3 that I've got some aftermarket side skirts and stuff for that I might, I don't know, it's pretty cool. I've got some cool photos of these things at Kursk, so I might do that. I've got some Panthers here because I want to do a late war Panther. I've also got some Heavy Hobby Panther details they sent me as well, so I can put those on there. So yeah, I've got the Dragon Panthers here that I'm going to use to make a late war Panther. Got Tamiya Char B1 BIS German version, and I've got an aftermarket set here from the French resin company Blast. And my plan here is to make, well, obviously it's a flamethrower. Because when the Germans capture these, they turn them into flamethrowers and other stuff like artillery guns. So I might do that. I mean, these are all just projects that are on my mind. I've got the Gecko Models little Bobcat skid steer loader, which I think is very cool. Very basic kit, but looks well detailed with lots of photo etch. And that'll be a fun weathering opportunity because, much like my model railroading stuff, I can go really crazy with chipping and everything because these things get really beat up. And then I've got a KV1. I want to do a KV1 with the bolted armor, the Ergonomy. So I've got the trumpeter kit and the Tamiya kit, and also I've got some resin wheels and stuff because I want to build a specific version. I'll keep a surprise what the theme is going to be, but basically the trumpeter kit's really good, except the bolted armor is crap, and the Tamiya kit's crap, except the bolted armor is really good. So I'm going to like put them together, and well, I'm going to try to put the bolted armor from this one on the turret and hull of this one, and see how that goes. I don't know. I might end up just having to build one of these and doing a little bit of work on it, but that'll be a fun project, a KV1, because I have a cool subject I want to model. And I've got the pre-assembled Sector 35 tracks. Apologies for the terrible lighting right here. This is just like my work from home desk, so I'm just using it for storage right now. And last but not least, let's take a look at my model railroad. Real brief. I'll do a proper video on this eventually, but because I have so much space, I've actually been working on this for the past year. This is a 9 by 2.5 foot modular railroad. It comes apart in the middle, so it can come apart and go in the back of my Volkswagen Golf. so I can move it. As you can see, it's basically a shelf style switching layout. I'm going to build some staging that comes off the end there for storage. And I've got, you know, for people who are into model railroading, this makes sense. But I've got a few industries here. I got a passing track there, and there's my locomotive and one of my industries. All the industries are scratch built using sheet styrene and stuff. I'll do a video on building a warehouse like that. But that crane is a actual kit. And I've actually already done a video on laying, like how I lay track and stuff. So when I laid this track that comes out here and drops down, and you know, I have like the crappy ties and everything over here. I did a video on how I just briefly like wire it, lay the cork, everything. Nice quick video. And I will do more videos because as you can see, it's like, you know, still basically bare foam and wood. I gotta add the backdrop. I gotta do all the scenery and laying the ballast and everything. And there'll be a lot of videos, opportunities for this. And it, of course, it's also applicable to people who make dioramas as well. So there will be the occasional video on my model railroad, and of course there'll still be videos on like weathering some equipment and buildings and stuff. So that's about it for this channel update, guys. The last thing I want to say is that when I post this today, this weekend there'll be a modeling show in Hamilton, Ontario, which is fairly close to where I live, and I will be there. This is Heritagecon 14, the first modeling show anywhere near I live in the past 2.5 years, so I'm excited to be there, and I'm excited to meet any of you guys if you're there. I'll be looking for some T-Rex tracks, I guess. So I look forward to finally going to a show once again, and like I said, meeting some of you guys. I'll bring some of my models as well, and also look definitely for a lot of good deals on some kits. Maybe we'll see. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you have any questions about anything, you can ask me. It was a bit chaotic, right, because I'm still not very experienced with the art of making a professional looking channel update, but at least try to be professional in my actual weathering tutorials and stuff. As you can see, I've got a lot of projects coming soon, and I also should have more time to have more of a schedule and make videos more frequently, because sometimes I make like a video a week for 2 months and I disappear for 6 months, right? So I'm going to try to have one big video per month, you know, be it like a full weathering tutorial or a full build or something like that. And then I'll probably have a couple of other videos on the month. They could be a shorter video on weathering a rail car, or maybe a review of some 3D printed parts, or tips and tricks on photo etch or something. There'll probably be like another video a month or so. I wish I could do a video every week like people like Night Shift, but of course I don't do this professionally. This is my hobby about my hobby. And then I also of course work full-time and everything, so it's it takes a lot of time to make the videos for you guys, but I don't mind. I enjoy sharing my passion of this hobby, and especially weathering. So I look forward to seeing some of you in Hamilton if you're there, and I'll see you guys next time, probably this weekend when I weather that gondola for you guys. See you then, take care, goodbye, and stay safe.